this right here, man, that you play when you feeling down on your isn't right. Play this shit right here, resuscitate your pimpin' and get you right back on your mission, right? For you hoes, this that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dough. Over 120 in the sun for fun. They mash for hours, hooker baths, not showers. Bright and early, down and dirty for the cash and power. They gotta get the cash, the towers, and reach it all to a pimp. In my position, I'm all but exempt. These bras not wimps, I'm like them renegade bitches. BFFs with tricks but never getting paid riches. Grenade bitches, they dynamite, blowing up on the pimpin' and missing when the time is right. But when they life gets strife, they see pimpin' shining bright, but they action is life without. Bitch, one strike you out. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. See, that's the difference, nigga. The pimpin' mashin' for these riches, nigga. Nothing like you master magician niggas. Smoking mirrors with your game, hella extras to reflect the opposite appearance of a lame. Bitches coming from y'all, I can't rock with those. Tender-footed and rooted in them doctor shows. Soft shoe rituals, minute residuals. Papers on life support, your loots and critical. Something I learned about when running my earn route. And working with turnouts is murdering burnouts. Cause knocking one of you niggas for a scarred bitch. That's knocking one of you niggas for some garbage. I'm heartless regardless, empty with sympathy, but banked up to the max with pimpathy. No remedy for me, I'm like this. My life is vice grip, synced in permanent ink. You can't rewrite this. My blood type is P positive, beautifully deposited with a lot of it. I'm popping this shit, and when I pop it so hard I make a trapping ass bad bitch wanna hoe hard. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Come on, pimpin', man, pop that shit. Show these sucker niggas they can't stop that shit. Let these hookers know if they wanna cop that shit. Treat the bag like it's hot, bitch, and drop that shit. And to you hoes, if you ever took a loss, bitch, show these bitches how to bounce back like a boss, bitch. Let them know that the best way to floss, bitch, is reach that paper to some pimpin' hoe and toss it. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. All right. Excuse me for the delay. Get my mic right. Cool. Okay, we good. Y'all should be able to hear me and see me just fine. What's happening with y'all? Appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in, man. Y'all already know first order of business. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. And my first order of business, got to hydrate my game one time, man. Let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, man, if it ain't one thing, it's another. Cheers to the game, and rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. You know, there's a lot to be learned from this situation with Charlie Kirk losing his life the way that he did. It says a whole lot about where America is right now and what's going on in America, right? And a lot of people probably, are too inundated to take notice of certain things, right? Now, I wasn't like necessarily, I guess you could say, a big fan of Charlie Kirk because I didn't see a lot of his content, but I definitely wasn't a Charlie Kirk hater, even though he said quite a bit of things that I disagree with. What I like about Charlie Kirk is, his willingness to face the people who disagreed with him, right? And when I say face, I'm not talking about going live with people or just sitting down on a podcast with particular individuals. I'm talking about going out into the public where any and everybody who disagreed with him could sit down and have a conversation with him and face him, right? That's one thing that I liked about him, and I believe he was kind of original when it came to that, because you don't really see very many content creators that are willing to go to that extent with, strangers. People who just simply disagree with you, right? So that's one thing that I admired about him. And then whenever I did see him, whether he was, having those speaking engagements where he would sit and debate with, whoever wanted to sit down with him, or when he was on different people's podcasts, or even when he was on the Jubilee podcast, I guess you could say, he was always classy. He was always a gentleman. If you go and watch his Jubilee episode where he sat down with it was 20, I can't remember, but it was basically 20 people with opposing views of his, right? Some of those people, if it's the same thing with everybody on the Jubilee thing, right? When they sit down with opposing people, you always have those oppositions. A lot of them are aggressive. Some of them are disrespectful. They talk over you and don't let you speak. They say, they hurl insults. And throughout all of that, from what I saw, he conducted himself with class and he conducted himself as a gentleman, right? So that's what I admired about Charlie Kirk. I admired the fact that whenever I saw him, no matter where he was or whatever he was doing, he conducted himself like a gentleman. Now, he definitely said, quite a few things that I disagree with, like I said, right? But me, myself, I'm just so fortunate to have come from the time that I come from and have the influences that I've had that all shaped and molded me into the person that I am today, which is the type of individual who can still respect somebody in spite of me disagreeing with them. See, what a lot of people don't know how to do today is what's called respectfully disagreeing with somebody. And Charlie Kirk himself was one of those people, as young as he was, man, 31 years old. He was somebody who knew how to respectfully disagree with people. And that is something that is extremely rare in the world, period, let alone just on the internet, social media, influencers and what have you. You see it now. You have certain influencers, people with big voices, who disagree with Charlie Kirk, and after seeing his demise, especially in the way that it happened, they getting on social media and saying some things that's just like insensitive, right? So it's just disappointing, man, and it's some of it is even disgusting, and then I could go on and on about the people that's celebrating his death, man. But, it really speaks to the climate of America, which is, it's a breeding ground for cowards. Social media in America is a breeding ground for cowards. A coward is born literally, it's probably two cowards born every second in America via social media. It's just it's so disgusting and disappointing, man. It's terrible, right? It's so many people that I disagree with on the internet, right? Y'all have seen me disagree with a whole lot of people, but it's never that serious to take it to the extent of wanting to bring harm to the individual or just inconvenience them in any kind of way, whether it means, them losing their freedom or anything like that. I just don't, nobody on the internet moves me in that way where I just want to seek vengeance on them because of something that they said. The individual who took Charlie Kirk's life, I'm pretty sure they didn't have any personal dealings with each other. I'm pretty sure they didn't know each other personally. I would imagine that Charlie Kirk never did anything that impacted that individual in real life personally. I'm pretty sure it was just as simple as him disagreeing with Charlie Kirk's views. The fact that he, was such an avid MAGA supporter. The fact that he was such an avid Trump supporter, right? Like I said, it really goes to show you where we are as a country, right? And it's crazy because some of Charlie Kirk's last words was him speaking about gang violence, right? And I know he probably didn't see himself that way, and I don't think he intended for things to be that way. But if you pay attention to politics, you don't even have to be, an avid political, person. You don't have to be well versed in politics to see that, it's pretty much like gangbanging. You have people that are from opposing sides who disrespect each other at every chance that they get. They can't even have conversations with each other. They can't have, respectful dialogue between each other. And, now it's even gotten to the point of violence. This isn't the first violence that we've seen that had to do with politics, because people just oppose each other so much. People dislike each other so much because of who doesn't agree with them or who doesn't see things the way that they see things. We saw what happened in Minnesota a few months ago with the shootings that took place out there, politicians having their lives taken by strangers, coming to their doorstep. Crazy, right? But that's really what it has come to. Politics ain't nothing but gangbanging. And, it's even now it's gotten to the point where, violence is like becoming a prevalent part of politics. And if you pay attention to history, right, this is how things start. Like, when the Columbine shooting took place, I was in high school. I think I was either a junior or a senior in high school when the Columbine thing took place in '99, right? And prior to Columbine, there had been mass shootings that took place prior to Columbine, but Columbine was just different because you had this so-called trench coat mafia that, I guess could be classified as a gang. And, they pretty much were victims of being bullied, and they decided to take matters into their own hands in that type of way. And they went to their high school, the high school that they were students at, and, shot and, they committed some, ridiculous acts of violence at that, in that situation at that school. Right. So, but basically what Columbine did was become the DMV to issue licenses to cowards to do things like that. And since Columbine, man, I don't even know how many mass shootings have taken place in that same type of fashion by cowards, that enact violence. Some of them do it to complete strangers, and then some of them do it, to people that they know but didn't like, who wasn't violent towards them. We see what just happened in Minnesota with the Catholic school students, little kids, I think the two that passed away were, I think, 8 and 10 years old, while they were praying, right? And see, this is how insensitive people have become. When those kids lost their lives, once it was known that the shooter was a trans individual, that highlight became bigger than the lives of those children, right? Not only the lives of the children who was lost, but the lives of the people that were injured, and just even the people that wasn't injured. Just imagine an elementary school kid sitting there praying with their friends that they go to school with, and the next thing you know, they seeing their friends getting shot and dying in front of them, right? As little kids, people forgot all about that, and they put so much more emphasis on the fact that this shooter was trans, and how so many mass shooters are trans people. So trans people are the problem and all this type of shit. And me, I'm not like really a big supporter of the LGBTQ community or movement or what have you, right? But at the same time, I don't look at problems as though like, oh, this is the problem. Because what you got to understand is, in all groups of people, whether you trans, gay, bisexual, whether you black, white, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever, like whenever you have large groups of people and communities, you gonna have bad actors in all of them, right? There's bad actors in everything. And trans people are not excluded, but they not the exception either. They're not the only ones. So that's not really the issue, right? And then, like I said, it's just so insensitive to those kids. And then, like, on social media, you have all these people celebrating the demise of Charlie Kirk, right? And they don't even understand or care to understand the magnitude of what took place. Right now, not only did Charlie Kirk get shot in broad daylight in front of hundreds of people, who else he also got shot in front of was his wife and his two very small children. Both of his kids, I would say, are toddlers, I believe. Right? They don't look. The oldest one, I don't even think, is probably 3 years old. Right? Two very small children of his sitting there watching their dad speak in front of people who, agree with him and disagree with him, right? Like he always does. His wife is sitting there with his kids, and all of a sudden, he gets shot in the neck, and, this happens in front of them. And, you have all of these cowards on the internet celebrating something like this, right? And what they don't understand is that when you do that, you encourage impressionable people to think that that is okay. And when you encourage impressionable young people to think that that is okay, some of those people are going to come to a point in their lives where they feel some type of way about something towards certain individuals, and they think that that is an okay resolution to their problem, to do something like that, right? You may think that you just being funny, or you gonna get some clicks and views off of this shit, and some attention is gonna come to you, and that's all fine and dandy. But like I said, this is why I say, a lot of people just aren't responsible enough to speak publicly. And when you speak on social media, you pretty much speaking publicly because somebody with 20 followers has the potential to go viral and be seen by millions of people, right? So it doesn't matter how big or small your platform is, but some people just aren't responsible enough to speak publicly. And that's just the unfortunate part of social media, is that it allows any and everybody to speak publicly, no matter how unprofessional they are, no matter how stupid they are, no matter how reckless they are. They just get to speak publicly and say the most dumb shit, and it's no recourse to it, right? So but yeah, man, it's a sad thing. Like I said, me myself, again, I haven't seen a whole lot of what Charlie Kirk, a whole lot of his content, but from the little bit that I've seen, I would say I probably disagree with about 80% of what he says, right? Now, if I seen more of his content, I might agree with more of what he says, right? But like I said, what I liked about him is that he was respectful in the way that he conducted himself, in the stances that he took. And what I liked most about him is his willingness to face people who disagree with him, and how he conducted himself in front of people who disagree with him. He conducted himself in a respectable type of way. He articulated himself well, and he didn't disrespect people who disagreed with him. No matter how intensely they might have, imposed their opinions upon him, he conducted himself with class, right? So, yeah, man, it's crazy. Give me just a second. Okay, I'm gonna just read this comment. A. Dot Moon says, hold on. A. Dot Moon says he was big on black on white crime, but I knew a black person didn't make that shot. But see, that don't even matter though. Like what he was big on, and I know that. Like, I know he spoke a lot about that. That's something that I disagree with that he said. Another thing that he said that I disagree with was that there's not enough people in prison and that we need more people in prison. I definitely disagree with that. His stance on gang violence, I disagree with that. It's a lot of things that he said that I disagree with, right? But, the ethnicity of the shooter is not as important as the fact that, he lost his life in the way that he did. Because guess what? This man was known by millions of people, right? So do you honestly believe that there's not a black person somewhere in America who would have done the same thing had they had the opportunity? Right? Again, there's people from all groups, whatever way you want to slice people up. There's somebody from every group who would have done the same thing, because guess what all groups have in common? There's cowards among all of us. You have cowardly, not only white people, but you have cowardly black people. You have cowardly Christians. You have cowardly Muslims. You have cowardly Buddhists. You have cowardly Asian, Latino, like you name it. Left, right, Democrat, Republican. You got cowards among everybody. So this isn't really like a black and white issue. I know people are going to make it that. And if they find out that, once they find out more about the shooter, more about his background, the emphasis is going to be put on that. But what the emphasis needs to be put on is the fact that social media has just empowered so many cowards and encouraged coward-like behavior, right? That's really the thing. People, like I said, people have just become so insensitive, and a lot of people need to just shut their damn mouth, man. A lot of people shouldn't be given a platform, but hey, we are where we are, right? So, see, I'm gonna just, I gotta take it here, man. I with all due respect to Charlie Kirk, man, like I said, this situation, there's just so much to learn and so much to gain. And I hate to do this because I don't want to be insensitive to Charlie Kirk, but I just want to show an example of somebody with a big platform who really should just shut their mouth. I got to do this, man. This dude always is like, in these types of situations, man, he always says some dumbass shit. Always. And I just don't like it, man. Like, he tries to present himself as somebody that is just being themselves and like speaks with their own mind. But it's like, dude, anybody with eyes and a brain can see that you say whatever the people who got you by the nuts want you to say. Sponsors got you by the nuts. Corporations, whoever you work for, they got you by the nuts. So you don't say what you want to say. You say what you think they want you to say. Like, and just peep this shit, man.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you courtesy of SiriusXM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. Number to call up, as always, is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. And also, if you want to send in your voicemail messages because you can't get me on the line, you can always go to SiriusXM.com/GetSirius. That's SiriusXM.com/GetSirius to send in your voicemail messages. I'll even grade them, and if you attach your phone number to
Wait, I don't know where to skip to, so we're just going to continue.
I might even call you back and put you on the air to hear what you have to say. Normally, as you well know, I'm somebody that comes out like a bat out of hell. I love doing radio. I love being back at Mad Dog Sports Radio. I like to lead with my passion and my fervor to really start the day, start the afternoon, so to speak. But if I sound a little bit, if not a lot, different, you can use the word melancholy, you can use the word sad or whatever. It's because I'm not in that kind of mood today.
Man, knock it off. Man, knock it off, dude. Like this dude is so bogus, man. He's a prime example of what I'm talking about, man. Now, I won't say that he just shouldn't have a voice, that he shouldn't have a platform, because when he sticks to sports and, details about sports, that's cool. But when he tries to do shit like this, just like when he spoke on Shannon Sharp, who he was calling his friend and all this type of shit, and you pretty much threw the man under the bus, man. Like, I just wish he would just be quiet when certain things come about. Just keep your opinion to yourself. But all this fake sadness and no, you're not really sad, because if you were, you would have conducted this in a totally different fashion. Like, we know you for sports. We know you're going to talk about sports. But the way that he tried to use this situation about Charlie Kirk to, bring more attention to his main agenda, it just wasn't cool, man. It wasn't cool, as you about to see.
I'm going to be real. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be my true Stephen A. self, whoever the hell.
No, you're not. Well, I guess you are being your true Stephen A. self, because the true Stephen A. is going to say whatever them people who got him by the balls want him to say. The true Stephen A. ain't going to have enough balls to say what he don't even have a real opinion. His opinion is whatever massa want his opinion to be. Whatever opinion they assign to him, is going to be his opinion. So all this true authentic, yeah, you being that, but we know who your true authentic self is. It's not what you think it is or what you're trying to portray yourself to be.
I am is who I am. That's the way it goes. And I'm sitting up here this afternoon, the afternoon on the East Coast, the morning on the West Coast, and I want to thank the world of sports. We got a Thursday night game coming up tonight, Washington Commanders against the Green Bay Packers, and I know that, and I'm getting ready to talk about that. We've got news emanating out of the NBA involving Kawhi Leonard. I'm going to talk about that. The WNBA season is coming to an end. How much that means to you, if anything at all, without the services of Caitlin Clark. I'm going to talk about that. Along with, of course, I'm in Vegas as we speak, in our SiriusXM Vegas studios, because I'm here for the big fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez, defending his 168-pound super middleweight championship against Terrence Crawford, undefeated at 41-0 with 31 KOs, which may be the fight of the decade. So we're all looking forward to talking about those things, but that's not what's on my mind.
That is what's on your mind, and you about to make that very clear. You just using Charlie Kirk's situation to promote what's on your mind. Just pay attention.
Mine was the shooting that happened yesterday in Utah. And we can slice it any way we want to, but what a horrific thing to see. It's all over the news. It's all over YouTube. It's everywhere. And I challenge anybody to take a look at that and tell me that you didn't cringe.
And see, that's the thing too, right? And this isn't a shot at Stephen A. in particular, because again, this is something that social media is to blame for, right? And that is, the insensitivity that comes when people post these videos and repost them and share them and all this type of shit of somebody losing their life. I haven't seen the actual video, even though I'm pretty sure it's all over X. I haven't seen the actual video of Charlie Kirk, what took place. I just saw literally up until the last second, which I'm going to show y'all that in a second as well. But, yeah, I don't like watching them type of videos, man. People losing their life. Like I told y'all before, man, when Nipsey lost his life in the video that was shared, I never watched that video. Still to this day, I haven't. I'm fortunate that I haven't. I just don't like watching them type of videos, because again, as a human being, you're supposed to have a certain type of empathy to certain things, right? When certain things happen, it's supposed to impact you a certain type of way. But when you see so much of certain things, it makes you insensitive. And I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be the type of individual like all of these cowards on the internet that's celebrating Charlie Kirk's demise. I'm pretty sure they all watched the video. They probably had the shit on repeat and watched it a million times. But and that's why they feel so at ease, celebrating something like that. But yeah, me myself, I'm not watching that video.
I'm happy about sports today because it's supposed to be a reprieve, something that pulls you away from life's travails and what truly, truly ails us all. And I'm not going to get into any politics or anything like that. SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio ain't the place for that. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be honest with the listeners out there everywhere to let you know that sports isn't the only thing on my mind, but I'm ecstatic that I'm still entrenched in the world of sports, and I get to talk about games and marvelous professional and collegiate athletes and storylines that ultimately make you say, come hell or high water, at the end of the day, it's just a game.
You see how he just briefly mentioned Charlie Kirk, but then he just went on a tangent about sports. He went on a tangent about sports before he mentioned Charlie Kirk, even though he got Charlie Kirk's name in the title. But, he mentions him for a brief moment, and then he goes on and on about sports. Pay attention.
There's real life stuff going on in this world. And we saw a right-wing conservative host, because that's what he was, and that's what they labeled Charlie Kirk. And we saw this man speaking in Utah at Utah Valley University. And we saw him struck by a bullet in his neck. We saw blood gushing out immediately. And it didn't take long before he was pronounced dead at the age of 31, courtesy of an assassin's bullet. A bullet from a rifle that was lodged against him from 200 yards away. The part that really resonates with me, outside of the obvious, is that he had two children, younger than 5 years of age. Both were in attendance and saw their father get gunned down. He had a wife, their mother, who was in attendance, who saw her husband get gunned down. In the world that we're living in today, I don't care who you are. You're white, you're black, you're Hispanic, you're Asian, you're Native American, you're Jewish, you're Catholic, you're Christian. I don't care. At some point in time, the one thing that sports needs to remind us about, the importance, the appreciation that we should all embrace is,
my nigga, man, man, what's wrong with this dude, man? Like, you see how he brings it back to sports. It's like you just said all that traumatic ass shit that took place. And then you just gotta, like, we know that you're known as a commentator about sports. We know that already. Like, it just goes to show you how times have changed, right? With people in his position, right? Because historically, when things like this take place and you have sports commentators that speak about things like this, they don't do it in this type of way, man. Like, it don't happen like this, right? Even if it was like an athlete or somebody to do with sports who was a victim of something, like, they don't go about it like this, man. Like, this is crazy, man.
It brings all of us together. No matter your color or creed, no matter your ethnicity, no matter your upbringing, your background, etc., when you wear the same uniform as somebody else, when you play in the same league as another contemporary, when the sacrifices that you make to elevate yourself to a certain level is something that's mirrored by hundreds, if not thousands, of other individuals out there, reminds us all that we're all God's children. And that
now, what about people who are not into sports, right? Because the fact that you use Charlie Kirk's name as clickbait in this video, you're going to attract the attention of lots of people who are not into sports. A lot of people who don't follow sports, who don't even know the names of the teams that you're talking about or anything that you're talking about when it comes to sports. Like, for you to use Charlie Kirk's name as clickbait, and then you try to paint this picture like sports is, brings people together in these times and all this type of shit. What about the people who don't follow sports? This is bigger than sports, man. Like, the problem is bigger than sports. The solution is bigger than sports, right? Everything ain't about sports. We love sports. I love sports, and there's other people that love sports. But I'm pretty sure people involved in sports would agree, man, that the way he went about this shit just wasn't cool, man.
Virtually, when we see something like that transpired, we got to collectively come together and understand that the world that we're witnessing and the world that we're living is pretty damn messed up. And there's a lot more love and a lot more brotherhood and sisterhood and humanity that goes on in this world that doesn't. Yet, the few who are evil amongst us are the ones that screech and make the most noise. And it's affecting us in a way where it's getting to a point where you're going to get scared to walk out in the streets. You're going to get scared to show love and affection and even to say hello to your fellow man and woman, your neighbor.
This ain't the message, man. Like, you're telling people that they are going to get scared because of things that are happening in the world, right? Like, basically you're saying that people are supposed to be scared walking down the street. People are supposed to be scared speaking to their neighbors. Like, you're encouraging fear in people. Now let's hold that thought right there, right? Let's go to somebody who's more responsible with their voice, right? Somebody who I like, but also is somebody who I don't agree with everything that he says. Hold on. Damn, he had a video on here. Oh, let me see. Oh, there we go.
30 seconds.
I put 5 million people worldwide. How many people you think this was their role model? A 14-year-old kid, a 10-year-old kid, an 18-year-old kid, a 25-year-old.
Now, let me go back because, as you see with Stephen A., he spoke a little bit about Charlie Kirk, but he put more emphasis on sports than Charlie Kirk himself, right? Now, here you have Patrick Bet-David, who was at an event that he had going on with Tony Robbins and some other people who I can't remember that were speaking at this event. He's in the middle of something big that has to do with his business that he's conducting, right? And just pay attention to the difference of how he responded to the Charlie Kirk situation.
Are we live? Okay. At this point, you've seen the news. Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, was shot. And report was made a few minutes ago that he is dead at the age of 31 years old. When this announcement was made, I'm right now at a conference of ours with thousands of people out there from 60 plus countries. Tony Robbins is on stage for the last 3 hours. I'm backstage. I get word he got shot. It's me, Vinny, Tom, the crew. We're sitting in the back. Family's there. Dylan's there. And we're seeing the reports of, he's critical condition, but he's got a pulse. They got him. It's going to be fine. And then I hit the stage. And when I'm going on the stage, Kelly gives me the mic. Security gets me on the stage. I shake hands with Tony. We make our announcement. Tony heads back. The song Tony's playing at the time is a song played in Gladiator. If you know the song, you know which one I'm talking about. And Gladiator is a movie I've seen God knows how many times from 43 minutes on, because this is a very emotional movie when you see that, he wants to seek his vengeance, or he wants to get justice, or he wants to go out there and be able to get what he wanted to get for what they did to his family. I'm on stage. Vinny comes to the left while I'm on stage just to call Tom up to come and pray for Charlie to recover and heal. Vinny comes, gives me the hand signal. I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "It's done." Then Kelly comes to the front. She's the runner for me, telling me everything that I need to do. And she says, "He's dead." At that moment, we're about to wrap up the session. It's obviously a very overwhelming moment, because yesterday, while I'm speaking in front of everybody, and
he had some technical difficulties right here, where he went silent for a minute. So we're going to skip past this. So as you see, Freeze ain't the only one who be having technical difficulties, man. Y'all be on my case about that all the time, man. But, this is Patrick Bet-David. This channel got damn near 3 million. His other channel got damn near 7 million. And he's even having technical difficulties. So it ain't just Freeze.
me, I'll tell you, what's the last thing you heard me say, Rob?
Kelly had come up to you and let you know that he had passed.
Kelly had come up to me and told me that he had passed. And when she did, obviously you're in front of thousands of people. You're trying to finish the session. You're overwhelmed. Tom comes up. The song is playing from Gladiator. And if you know Gladiator, you know the whole story. Tom gives a prayer, gets on his knees in front of everyone. The room is emotional when we made the announcement that Charlie Kirk is dead. You heard the reaction. Many people knew he was shot. Not many people knew he was dead. That happens. We finish the session. We come.
He has technical difficulties again for a second, but you see the response, right? Like, and so for those of y'all who don't know, Tom is his partner on the PBD podcast. He's one of the co-hosts of the show. And, in front of thousands of people, Tom got on his knees, and Tom is a man in his 60s. So, you know, it might not be the easiest thing for him to get on his knees like that. And I'm pretty sure the ground is hard in front of thousands of people, you know. It just goes to show you the difference in character.
Guys, you hear the news that the shooter, we've all seen a picture of the shooter. Rob, if you want to show the picture of the shooter that they're showing us, they say this is the shooter, and he's telling me, telling everybody, kill me, take me, do all the stuff that he's saying. And then other reports are coming saying this isn't the shooter, he's the patsy. I hope he makes it. If he doesn't make it, here's another story of somebody that's, you know, another story of John F.
And for those of y'all, the person that the police are hauling off right there, that is not the shooter. That's just somebody who was yelling that they were the shooter and you know, all this nonsense. But he's actually not the shooter.
He got shot, and then, hey, was it really him? Was it Oswald? Or was it somebody else? Same story with RFK, same story with everybody else. I hope this guy's alive, because at least we'll be able to find out if he is the guy or not, and if it's somebody else. If you've seen the video, not the one from the distance, if you saw the video, the close-up, that's when you knew the way the neck fell and the blood started gushing out the second it hit him, you knew this wasn't good. Elon Musk even tweeted saying, I hope he makes it, but that shot didn't look good. Now, here's what's wild. You hear MSNBC, some hosts are saying, we don't know who the shooter was. It could have been friendly fire from the people that are even on his own side. Nobody knows who shot him, Rob. I don't know if you have that clip. All these things that are circulating. If you got that clip, Rob, if you can play it. And I want you to ask yourself, how do you feel when you hear a clip like this? Go ahead, Rob. Is it working, Rob, or it's not? Okay, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about it if you don't have it. But you hear the reporter from MSNBC saying the fact that it may be friendly fire. What do you mean it may be friendly fire? Who the hell says it may be friendly fire?
I agree. That's an irresponsible statement, but I want to go to the part because now you see that, you know, he's not putting emphasis on his event and Tony Robbins and everything that was going on. He's putting more emphasis on Charlie Kirk because, you know, he knew Charlie Kirk. He's had him on the podcast numerous times, and I'm pretty sure he has some type of relationship with Charlie Kirk. So it probably hit him different. But as far as the fear thing, right, I just want to get to that.
And we're going to keep doing our part. And for those of you guys,
Hold on.
we live in the greatest country in the world with the greatest values, the greatest you're doing. My encouragement in the military, they used to say, stay alert, stay alive, be alert. We're being a little bit more cautious than we've ever been before, but we're not going to be afraid.
You see what he said. We're not going to be afraid.
In the greatest country in the world with the greatest values, the greatest opportunity, and we're going to keep doing our part. And for those of you guys that are also shocked like I was, we're going to go through this process together. And I am naturally optimistic because I put my faith on a man upstairs.
You see the difference. Now, let's go back to what Stephen A. dumbass said.
And it's affecting us in a way where it's getting to a point where you're going to get scared to walk out in the streets. You're going to get scared to show love and affection and even to say hello to your fellow man and woman, your neighbor.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, my encouragement, in the military, they used to say, stay alert, stay alive, be alert. We're being a little bit more cautious than we've ever been before, but we're not going to be afraid. We live in the greatest country in the world with the greatest values, the greatest opportunity, and we're going to keep doing our part. And for those of you guys that are also shocked like I was, we're going to go through this process together. And I am naturally optimistic because I put my faith on a man upstairs.
You see the difference. Like that is a responsible speaker versus an irresponsible speaker. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, but again, my condolences to the family of Charlie Kirk. it's just an unfortunate thing, man. And I hope that this doesn't. It's just, man, we just in some messed up times, man, because I hope that this doesn't encourage like copycats and more cowards to do more of this type of stuff, right? Put some more love in my body, man. Hey, listen, it's 199 of y'all up in here, but only 107 of y'all have wiped your feet off at the door. Do me a favor, man. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button. But yeah, man, again, like I say, just looking at recent history and understanding what happens in these types of situations. Once they find out more about the shooter, you know, it's going to be a lot of emphasis and blame put on that. Oh, he's from this background, so that's why he did this, or oh, he's this type of person, so that's why, you know, all that type of shit. And the only thing that does is promote division, for one, and then two, it promotes being insensitive to the family and loved ones of the victim in the situation, which is Charlie Kirk in this instance, right? And that, you know, it's just inhumane. It's unreal. You know, as human beings, we're not supposed to be like that. And you know, for the people who get online and celebrate, right? These are people tucked away behind the safety net of the internet, and they think that they can just say and do whatever they want. Any cowardly thing that comes to mind, they can just do on the internet, and they don't have to, you know, bear any consequences. But with the cowards on the internet who don't know, like the cowards who celebrate this situation and other situations like this don't know or don't keep in mind, is that one thing that you cannot avoid is that you will inevitably reap what you sow. You have to reap what you sow. There's no way around it. There's no such thing as, I'm sowing a bunch of cowardly bullshit seeds, but I'm not gonna reap any cowardly bullshit fruit. No. If you sow cowardly bullshit seeds, you're going to reap cowardly bullshit fruit. There's no way around it. It's not a maybe. It's not a I hope or I don't think so. It's what if. It's for show. You are going to for show reap what you sow. There's no way around it. And another thing about it, right? See, that's, you know, I'm even grateful for the fucked up things that I've been through in my life, right? Like going to prison, being shot, because it gives you a sense of realness, right? You know, these people that's on the internet celebrating, I guarantee they've never been shot before. They probably never even had a gun pulled on them, let alone actually being shot or even been shot at. But when you've been shot at or shot, there's no way that you can, like, unless something is like seriously wrong with you mentally, if you are a sane person and you have been shot before, like I have, you can't celebrate things like this. You know, especially when it happens to somebody who wasn't a violent person. Like, we don't know Charlie Kirk to be a violent individual. We don't know him to be somebody that went on rampages and committed acts of violence against people that didn't deserve it and all that type of stuff. No, we know him to be a gentleman. We know him to be somebody that conducted himself with class. We know him to be somebody that was bold and brave. You know, like I said again, when it comes to facing people that disagree with him and being classy in those instances, right? But, you know, like I said, when you've been through real things, when you've had violence, you know, extreme acts of violence committed against you, it's relatable. You know what I mean? When you done been shot before, it's relatable. You know, especially when you blessed to still be here. But
you know, even for people like when you know people who've been paralyzed or disabled behind gun violence and things like that, people that's wheelchair bound or people that lost limbs or, you know, whether it be in the streets or whether they was an innocent bystander somewhere or whether they was in the military or whatever the case was, man, when you have had violence, you know, whether you've been stabbed or shot or whatever, man, you know, there's no way that you could celebrate something like this. And because you, you know what it feels like to get shot, even though you still here, fortunately, by the grace of God, you're still here. And when you think about, cause like me, right? For those of y'all who don't know the story with me, I was being robbed at gunpoint and I tried to take the pistol from the guy that was robbing me, right? And he and I were fighting for the pistol. And in the midst of us fighting for the pistol, I got hit in the knee, right? Now, whenever I look at that in retrospect, it is very real that I could have been hit anywhere, because as we fighting for the pistol, it's going all over the place. I got his hand. I got this is his gun hand. I got both of my hands on his wrist. And I'm trying to like direct the gun away and he fighting me. And, you know, the gun is going everywhere. I could have been hit in the chest. I could have been hit in the head. I could have been hit in the stomach. I could have been hit in a artery in my leg, which a lot of people die that way. Rest in peace, Roy Lee. That's how Roy Lee died. For those of y'all who don't remember Roy Lee, the comedian from Dallas, he got shot in the leg and died. So, you know, I could have been hit anywhere. And not only could I have died, but I could have been crippled. But by the grace of God, I'm still here. And even though I'm not 100% as able-bodied as I was before the shooting, I'm still able, even 20-something, that's been 24 years ago, right? 24 years later, I'm still able to run, jump, squat. I'm still able to do all the activities. I probably just can't do them as good as I used to because I don't have the same type of leverage and strength, but I'm still able to do everything that I pretty much was able to do before. I can't run as fast, but I can still run. I can't jump as high, but I can still jump. You know what I mean? So when you go through things like that, it makes you count your blessings, for one. And then two, I don't take lightly the fact that I very easily could have lost my life. And then, so I remember when I got shot, right? The ambulance came. They took me to St. Mary's Hospital in Long Beach, which was down the street from where I got shot. I got shot in front of the Poly Apartments. The ambulance takes me to St. Mary's down the street. St. Mary's takes x-rays and things like that. But when they realized, because St. Mary's is a private hospital, when they realized that I don't have insurance, they advised me to go to USC Medical Center, right, which is a county hospital. And, you know, for those of y'all who don't know, USC Medical Center is far from downtown Long Beach where St. Mary's is, right? So fortunately, my homeboys had pulled up to the hospital when I called them, and, you know, they were there to take me. But had they not been there to take me to the hospital, I'd have been all bad, right? But I remember I called my dad, and at the time, me and my pops wasn't even speaking. Me and my pops wasn't on good terms, right? But I called my dad and let him know what happened. And then he was like, okay. And we got off the phone. I called my mom's. Of course, mom's is hysterical. On the phone, Pops seemed composed. He was concerned, of course, but he didn't like get hysterical or nothing like that. But I remember some time after the fact, right? I was talking with my little sister's mom, which is who he was with at the time when I called him. And she told me that he cried, right? And I ain't never seen or heard nothing about my pops crying ever at all, right? But fast forward years later to me currently being a father of teenagers that are not much younger than I was when I got shot. I'm fresh out of high school at the time, 19 years old, right? Very young. God damn, I couldn't imagine one of my kids calling me, telling me that they just got shot. Even that they might seem calm, because I was calm on the phone. You know what I mean? I wasn't like hysterical. I was talking like how I am right now. You know, I was in excruciating pain, but, you know, I was letting my pops know that I had got shot, right? So, you know, fast forward to now, looking at it from his perspective as best I could as a parent, that got to be some terrible shit, right? And, you know, he cried, even though I'm telling him, you know, I'm okay. I just got shot in the leg. You know what I mean? I you know, I'm not in critical condition or nothing like that, but I did get shot. You know, when you a parent, again, I can't imagine one of my kids calling me with that type of news about something that happened to them themselves, right? But man, as a parent, man, that got to be some crazy shit, right? And it makes me think about Charlie Kirk's parents. And it's just like, man. Young man, 31 years old. Full of life, so much life to live ahead of him, right? Ain't no telling where, you know, life would have took him. He was moving in a good direction, right? He was doing good things. And to be cut down like that, right? I just think about his parents, man. As a parent, it just makes me think about his parents, like I can't even imagine what they going through right now, right? And then people are so insensitive and so fucking weird that I would imagine his parents are probably on social media. And if they are, man, I can't even imagine what they going through right now, man. It's just crazy. But yeah, I feel for his family. I feel for his parents. I feel for his kids. I feel for his wife, all of his friends, extended family. Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, man. And, you know, people, like I said, who get on social media and do coward shit and haven't been through certain things themselves, you know, they don't think about, like, what if that was their brother, or what if it was their cousin, or you know, family members, or their father, or somebody like that, right? You know, is people just don't think, man. They just the urge for clout is so strong in people that they don't think about nothing. They say the dumbest shit, the most insensitive shit that they can think of just for the sake of clout. And some things ain't worth clout. You know, and when you understand, when you have a real value system and you have, you know, your values intact, and you understand what's important in life, man, you understand that everything ain't worth clout. Certain clout is too expensive. Like, it's a lot of clout that's just too expensive for me. I'm not willing to pay the price for certain types of clout. And I don't do anything for the sake of clout. You know, I'm just not that type of individual. I don't do things with the mindset of, oh, I'm going to do this or say this because it's going to get me some clout. Now, there's certain things that I, know before I do it that it's probably going to get me some clout, but that's not my objective. And if I don't get the clout that I might anticipate, I'm not bent out of shape, and I don't try to, revamp it to try to get more clout. That just ain't my thing, right? But yeah, it was something else that I wanted to show as well. But back to Stephen A versus Patrick Bet-David, I just wanted y'all to see the difference in someone who speaks responsibly versus someone who speaks irresponsibly, right? Someone with integrity versus somebody who don't have integrity. I know it's a lot of people who don't like Patrick Bet-David, just like it's a lot of people who don't like Stephen A. But say what you want about Patrick Bet-David, he has a value system, and he operates with integrity. From what I've seen, I've been watching Patrick Bet-David for years, and even years ago when I got hip to him, I think I became hip to Patrick Bet-David when he interviewed Kobe Bryant. That's when I first discovered him, right? Rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. But hey, if you haven't seen that interview with him and Kobe, it's a dope ass interview. I strongly advise you to go watch it when you have time, right? But that's when I first became hip to him, and then he would pop up in my feed more and more, and then I watched him more and more. Then I became a fan of him, and then I went back and watched some of his old videos because I wanted to see the growth and the evolution of how he came from, because he still got all his old videos from shit over 10 years ago, 12, 13, 14 years ago. He got videos that old on his channel when he first started, and to see where he's come from that to now, it's interesting, to say the least. But what I like is that his character has been consistent over that time. Of course, he's grown and he's evolved and he's become more seasoned, but his character has been consistent throughout that whole time. Stephen A, on the other hand, he's always been a volatile individual in front of a camera and a microphone. And with him being so volatile, it's a certain level of irresponsibility when it comes to speaking, as far as that goes. And he always says some dumb shit. I just wish he would stick to sports and that's it, man. Like, things like this, I just wish he would leave it alone. But
raw grief, especially from his friends.
I'll just go to the beginning of it.
UVU in Orem has had an active shooter at the Charlie Kirk event. We're getting several calls. We're trying to get more information.
It was a single fatal shot. A bullet that would not only take the life of one of America's most prominent MAGA figures,
apparently there's been a shooting,
but send political shockwaves through a divided country already tearing out in two opposite directions. Charlie Kirk was a 31-year-old political activist known for airing his deeply conservative and sometimes controversial views on college campuses, encouraging liberal students to take him on. Utah Valley University was meant to be the first stop on his American comeback tour. But
see, as you said, as she said, you know, as you can see, encouraging, you know, liberal students to take him on. Like, he was encouraging, like, and see, that's, you know, in spite of whether or not you may agree or disagree with his views, you know, he was so important because what he was displaying was something that's needed, which was the ability to respectfully disagree, for one, and then two, you know, a willingness to face, you know, people who oppose what you believe. Because, again, like I've said before, a lot of people sit back, you know, behind the comfort and the protection of the internet, and they'll never allow people to challenge them in the ways that he did. A lot of people who talk a lot of shit on the internet, they're not going to go into a public place and welcome whoever disagrees with them and offer them the opportunity to sit down and challenge whatever they're saying, right? That is important because, you know, what it promotes is, again, the ability for people to respectfully disagree. You know, I'm sitting right here, you're sitting right there. We having dialogue with each other. We disagree with each other, but at the end of it, we can shake hands and walk away from each other with respect. Even though I haven't convinced you to believe what I believe, you haven't convinced me to believe what you believe, but we still walk away from each other with respect for each other. It's not enough of that going on, right? And that needs to be seen. It needs to be put on display. It needs to be promoted. Because as you see, what is being promoted ain't helping nothing. Division is being promoted. Disrespect, inconsideration. All of those types of things are being promoted.
ended in tragedy.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
So, as you can see, this was his last moment, right? Now, the person in the audience, obviously somebody who had an opposing opinion of his, asked him about mass shooters. Does he know how many mass shooters there have been in this country? And Charlie Kirk said, including or not including gang violence, right? And the next thing you know, he gets shot. Now, again, like I said, I've heard him speak about gang violence, and I disagree with his stance on that. But just like I'm pretty sure the person who he was talking to in that moment disagreed with him. But just the fact that he was able to respect that individual, not talk over him like a lot of people do, able to listen to somebody who disagrees with you, not just the fact that he's willing to sit down with people who disagree with him, but the way that he conducts himself in front of people who disagree with him, right? Because what I can't stand, and some of y'all have seen it with me on different live streams, whether it be on YouTube and Instagram, where I will sit there with somebody who disagrees with me, let them go on and on for as long as they want to go. Then it's when it's my turn to speak. Before I get into it, I'll always say, hey, man, if you pay attention, you notice how I let you speak. I didn't interrupt you not one time. I'd appreciate it if you grant me the same respect. And almost every time, nobody is able to do what I just did, right? But Charlie Kirk was able to do that. I've seen, numerous situations where somebody will be sitting there and they'll be telling him something that he completely disagrees with, but he won't interrupt them. He'll let them speak. And then oftentimes when he starts to speak, people will talk over him and interrupt him, but he still remains classy, remains a gentleman, doesn't get belligerent, doesn't get disrespectful. So, again, whether or not you disagree with him, if you pay attention to him, there's a lot to learn from him, especially young people who don't know how to do any of the things that I just said, right?
This image appears to show a shooter dressed all in black fleeing the scene, a shooter who is still at large. Police later released these two images as a person of interest they're looking for. Witnesses spoke of their shock.
So I turned around, and like 10 to 20 seconds later, after I got done talking to Charlie, I saw that he was shot in the neck and that he was squirting blood everywhere.
And then I saw all the crowd running as fast as I could, and I was worried about people trampling each other. And I saw two college-age girls, one was having a panic attack.
Hundreds of students were gathered in an outdoor auditorium in a central part of the campus. Charlie Kirk was addressing them and taking questions from this gazebo. The shot appears to have been fired from this roof. UVU student Andrew Kang filmed Kirk arriving to chants. He says the atmosphere was charged between supporters and protesters on a nearby balcony. And then everything changed.
Yeah, there was a loud and clear shot, one shot. It just goes bang. And a lot of us were obviously confused. The whole crowd crouched down. And in my head, I was only thinking, we gotta get out of here. So I started yelling to my friends, we gotta go, we gotta go.
We gotta go, we gotta go, yeah, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. Go, go, go.
Andrew, who left his bag and car keys as he ran, describes himself as politically moderate, disagreeing with Kirk but welcoming debate. He and his friends are struggling to come to terms with what happened.
So as you can see, this individual who's being interviewed, you know, he was somebody who disagreed with Charlie Kirk, but nonetheless, you know, had respect for him. And as you can see, he's not somebody that's celebrating the fact that he's gone. Now, you know, of course, it's going to impact somebody different who's right there and seeing it in real time in front of them, right? You know, somebody who's just a matter of feet away from Charlie Kirk when this happens. You know, even though you're not the direct victim, you know, that's still a traumatic thing to see somebody lose their life in front of you, right? You in front of somebody, in 1 second, they're alive and well, talking, laughing, you know, doing everything right there with their family, all of the stuff. And then the very next moment, this person loses their life in front of you. You know, that's going to be traumatic. So I'm pretty sure out of the people who were there, it might be some people who was in attendance that have celebrated somebody's demise on the internet before. But I imagine that after that day, they probably won't do that no more. You know, it's just different when you see something like that happen in front of you, right? So, yeah, but it's just sad either way it go.
Oh my God!
Just traumatized. Yeah, there were just lost for words of what happened. Yeah, and I just hope everybody's doing okay, and hopefully eventually the time will resolve things.
Nah, time ain't gonna resolve everything. You know, time can help in some ways as far as, you know, your ability to cope with things, but it's not gonna resolve things, man. When you lose somebody that you love, especially in a tragic type of way, time don't resolve that. But yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Again, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. Let me go to these supers right quick. Chi-Town Rick, as always, good looking with the $50 holla. R.I.P. Sinful to P. Blessings to the game, bro. I'm glad you covering this topic. Appreciate you, Chi-Town Rick, as always. Ray Gunn, good looking with the $2 holla. Blessings to the chat and Freeze 100. Ray Gunn, as always, I appreciate you, man. Palm, as always, good looking with the $5 holla. You know I can't do the I got 5 on it like Sinful to P, man. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the sound bite. So whenever somebody super chat $5, man, I'm going to have the Sinful to P sound bite. I got 5 on it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, man. Next time y'all see me live, I'm going to have the Sinful to P sound bite. You know what I mean? Just like I got this one right here.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
That we never left. You know what I mean? I'm going to get the Sinful to P sound bite. I got 5 on it. Yeah. Palm, good looking for inspiring that thought, man. But me, Stephen A. and Charlie all have the same. Damn. Got to move this so I can read it. I'm reading it sideways like this. Be moving where I can read it better. Oh, he says, me, Stephen A., and Charlie all have the same B-Day, 10/14. Damn, that's crazy. I think I got a family member with that birthday, too. I'm just not exactly sure. Also, I have interviewed Murs today and shouted you out, Freeze. Long live Sin, R.I.P. Idea. Yeah, R.I.P. Idea, man. R.I.P. Idea was dope, man. For those of y'all who ain't familiar with Idea, he was a battle rapper, but he also got albums. He was a part of a collective, E&A, which was Idea and Abilities. And you know they got some good stuff out there. For those of y'all unfamiliar, man, Idea was he was dope, man. Rest in peace to Idea. But that's dope, Palm, that you interviewed Murs, man. I know that's a dope ass interview. So for those of y'all who may not already be, make sure you click on Palm's icon right here. If you go to the super chats and you see Palm in there, click on it, go to his channel, subscribe, hit the bell when you subscribe, and then also make sure that you check out the Murs interview when he drop it, man, because it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm going to definitely tap in. And he got other interviews on there that's dope too, so go check out Palm, man.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Did we never left? You dig? I just had to hit that one more time. Reap Cash, as always, good looking with the $20 holla. Hopefully this doesn't offend. This doesn't offend you, but you should start it. You should start it. I don't know if you meant to say should have. Should have started a series, a show where you listen to Sinful P talking, pause, give your intake, elaborate, and if possible, tell a story, keeping Sin name alive through you. Thanks God and God bless. I'm not offended by that, Reap Cash. And Reap Cash is an artist as well, y'all. So y'all go ahead and check out his music. You know, again, if you go to the super chats and you see Reap Cash in there, go ahead and subscribe to him. Hit the bell when you subscribe and tap in with his music. But Reap Cash, I'm not offended by you saying that. You know, that's not a bad idea. I do that, you know, sometimes. But as far as starting a show about that, I'm not sure. But I appreciate the thought and the input. Good looking. Talib Al-Amin Dakir, I hope I pronounced your name right. Appreciate you for the $50 holla. Good looking with the $50 holla. The golden rule applies even to an enemy. Man, Talib, I don't know how long you've been here, man, but anybody who's been following me for a long time knows that I always talk about the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have done unto you. And I agree with you. It definitely even applies to an enemy. Yeah, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself, man. And it's sad, man. There's so many people. It's so many people that don't even know the golden rule, let alone understand it. I remember one time, and this was years ago. I know it's probably even worse now, right? But I remember one time, man, this was like over 10, well, nah, probably not over 10 years ago, but a good like 8 years ago, right? I was in New Orleans, and I was having a conversation with somebody. It's top of the morning, and I'm talking with them about the golden rule, and they didn't know what the golden rule was, right? So I was like, damn, you don't know what the golden rule is? So then I started asking people. I wish I would have recorded it. But, this is before I was doing YouTube at the time, but I wasn't like really heavy into YouTube. But I wish I would have recorded it. But I was asking people as they walked past on the street if they knew what the golden rule was. And so many people, to my surprise, did not know what the golden rule was. And I was just like, damn, all these people don't know what the golden rule is? Like, it's crazy. You don't even have to be like super well versed in the scripture to know about the golden rule, even though it's from the scriptures. But I just thought that was common knowledge, but it really ain't, unfortunately. And this was, like I said, at least 8 years ago, if not longer. So people have become slower since then, much slower. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if even a whole lot more people don't know what the golden rule is. But yeah, the golden rule is an important one, man. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. See, like, when you have the golden rule ingrained in who you are, when it's just a part of your character, man, it really puts you at ease, man. It makes you not worry about other people so much and what they do. And, because that's what goes on. Like, so many people so nosy. Like, for instance, man, like it's real popular now for people to pull people's paperwork on cases that, that they ain't got nothing to do with. And with people who they don't know personally, right? Looking up people's paperwork. And I know that, it can be content, but why would you do that? I don't know. I guess because I've been through certain real situations. Like I've never had an urge to go search up somebody's paperwork who I don't personally know, who ain't never done nothing to me, that I have no involvement with. But because they got a voice on the internet, I'm looking up their paperwork. I'm looking up their criminal history. Like, I don't know, that don't do nothing for me. But yeah, man. Back to Charlie Kirk. This is a real sad situation, man. And I know my voice ain't really that big on the internet, but I hope that, other people with bigger voices than mine promote the same type of energy that I'm promoting right now, which is, first and foremost, having respect for the family and loved ones of Charlie Kirk, especially them babies, man. Man, they growing up in a time where they always going to be reminded of that. even though right now they're too young to remember. But then you can't say that, though, because, you know, when certain traumatic things happen to you at a very young age, it can be memorable. But yeah, it's unfortunate that the fashion in which it happened, they're going to constantly be reminded of it throughout their lives. Kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, they're going to constantly be reminded of this situation, right? Especially when people find out who their father is and all this type of stuff, man. It's just unfortunate. And then also, like I said, his parents, man, I can't even imagine what they're going through right now. Losing their son like that. Yeah, it's tragic, man. But again, hopefully the bigger voices on social media and the internet promote, you know, having respect first and foremost for his family and loved ones, and you know, being sensitive to that fact, and, you know, not being the types of individuals that once we know more about the shooter, you know, that more emphasis is being put on that than respect to Charlie Kirk's family and loved ones, right? And see, this is what a lot of these descendants of Columbine who do these cowardly type acts, you know, I don't think about, like, man, technology is so good. And then so for those of y'all who don't know, the shooter, they're saying that they found the rifle that was used in the shooting, right? So they got to do tests on that. Then they saying that they have a palm print and a forearm print. Now the forearm print leads me to believe that maybe because they found the rifle in the woods, right? I'm trying to find a picture of the dude. Is it in this? I think it's in this video. I can't find a picture of the dude. Hey, let me see. So as you can see, right here, the shooter has, hold on. The shooter got on long sleeves right here, right? So if they found a forearm print, because they said that they have, oh, I'm tripping. Yeah, as you can see right here, the shooter got on long sleeves. So if they found a forearm print, then it leads me to believe that once he got to the wooded area where they found the rifle, he must have changed clothes, right? So, but they got a lot of leads on him. They got a palm print and they have a forearm print. They got the assault rifle that was used. They've already reviewed the footage showing him entering the building, arriving at the event, you know, going up to the roof. They got him in a stairwell. You can't really see it. Let me see. Yeah, you can't really see it, but it looks like he has something over his shoulder. Like if you look right here. Hold on. If you look like right here over his left shoulder, it looks like he's got something over his shoulder. So I'm pretty sure, you know, he had the weapon in there. So he must have really, really planned this out, like for him to run to a wooded area and then possibly change clothes. Why he would leave the weapon there is beyond me. I don't know. But yeah, we just live in a time where technology is just too good, man. Like, they're going to find this dude because they found people with much less to work with because of how good technology is. That's just like for those of y'all who might remember some years back in Compton. I think this was during the pandemic. In Compton, near the Compton train station for the Blue Line, there was somebody who ran up on the police and shot him, right? Well, he walked up on the police, shot him, and then ran away. I think he shot a female officer, if I remember correctly. Or he might have shot 2 officers. But whatever the case, this dude was completely covered up and ran away from the scene. And the quality of the footage when the officer got shot wasn't even really that good. They still found that individual. Now, when I seen the video, again, like I said, I don't really like watching them type of videos, but I saw that one. But when I seen that video, I was like, man, ain't no way they're going to catch that person. Like, they completely covered up. They fled the scene, got away. I can't remember how long, much later it was, but they ended up finding that individual, right? But see, not only is technology that good, but, you know, people's willingness to cooperate with authorities is at an all-time high, right? So I'm pretty sure that there is somebody who knows this guy personally and knows what he did that's going to end up telling on him. Whether it's a family member, a friend, co-worker, somebody. There's somebody who knows this guy personally that's going to put it together, and they going to end up telling on him. They might have even seen him wear this shirt and this hat before and be like, oh my goodness, that's Greg, or oh my goodness, that's Bernard, or whatever his name is. Oh my goodness, that's Bobby. Like, and they going to call the people and they going to talk. People do that for free, let alone if it's a reward involved. Oh, they really feed them to the wolves. So yeah, he's pretty much, it's a wrap, right? No matter how well thought out, because it does appear that this thing was well thought out. But no matter how well thought out, he planned this thing. Somebody if technology don't get him, somebody's mouth is gonna get him. Oh, Mossberg says he got told on, did he? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if we can see the latest. He might have did get told on. I don't know. The manhunt continues for Charlie Kirk's assassin. Right-wingers call for war with the left. See, you see what I'm talking about? Like I just said earlier towards the beginning of this video, politics has become gangbanging. They ain't nothing but a bunch of gangbangers. They don't dress like the typical gangbangers. They don't even talk like the typical gangbangers. But politics is pretty much becoming gangbanging. Now, if you recall gangbanging, the origins of it, right? In the early days of gangbanging, it wasn't really a lot of gun violence going on. It was, skirmishes and things like that. But then when one side takes the life of somebody from the other side, then you have a war. that goes on, right? And next thing you know, it's all out war in the streets between these different gangs, right? So here it is. The Crips, so to speak, the blue team has so they believe, right? Because that's another thing about gangbanging. A lot of times the wars that have started in gangbanging, you know, the culprit wasn't even who they thought it was. They just assumed that, oh, them people over there came over here and did this, so we gonna go over there and do the same thing to them. But the whole time it wasn't even them who did it, right? So here it is. You have the red team, the Bloods, the political Bloods. They've lost somebody on their side, one of their big homies, one of their OGs. They've lost them, Charlie Kirk, and now they just assuming that the Crips did it, the blue team, the political Crips. They just assuming that, oh, the political Crips had to do this. Now we finna go to war with them. So, you know, it's and then it shows that it's just unsafe now to do speaking engagements in this type of fashion, the way Charlie Kirk was doing it, right? Out in the open, where anybody can come along and do something like this, right? But we don't even know that this was a left-winger, a Democrat, a liberal, or the blue team, the political Crips, or whatever you want to call them. We don't even know that this person who did this is from that side. He might be a right-winger. He might be a political Blood. You know? But same way in gangbanging, this is how wars start. And, you know, what politics has taken on, just like gangbanging took on, when it comes to gangbanging, a lot of the gangbanging activity is emotionally charged, right? A lot of the gangbanging activities have to do with how people feel and not at all with what makes sense. All the gang violence that you see going on in all these different cities across America, and it's not just black gang violence, but you have white gangs that commit violence against each other. You have Latino gangs that commit violence against each other, and so on and so forth, right? I know that the media would have people to believe that, you know, black gangs are the only ones who commit violence against each other, but that's not true. You got white gangs that commit violence against each other too. You got Nazi lowriders. You have Aryan Brotherhood. You have Peckerwoods. You have Hell's Angels, Mongols. You know, all the different motorcycle gangs. They commit violence against each other. So, and then you have, just like with black gangs, just like with Latino gangs, among white gangs, you have different factions of the same gang who commit violence against each other, that fall out with each other, right? Like you might have these Hell's Angels that don't get along with these Hell's Angels, and they committing acts of violence against each other, right? So, you know, it goes on across the board. But the main point is that most of this gang violence has to do with emotions, right? Sometimes it can have to do with money and things like that, you know, deals gone bad. But most of the time it's emotions. A lot of times it's over a woman, but whatever the case, it's over emotions. It's because of how people feel, right? And now here it is with politics, something that's supposed to be, you know, intellectually charged. Something that's supposed to be based on history, knowledge, things of that nature, current events, pressing issues in the country. This is what politics is supposed to be about. But as we see, and this ain't new, but it's becoming more prevalent than ever that, politics is very emotionally driven nowadays. It's extremely emotionally driven. So, and it's only getting worse. It has gotten worse over the years, and it's only getting worse. There's no signs of it getting better, right? So this right here, Charlie Kirk lost his life because of how somebody felt about him. Not because of what he did to somebody, not because of how he violated somebody. This man lost his life because of how he made somebody, a stranger, feel. He made a stranger feel a certain type of way to the extent that that person wanted to take his life. And then it can be the potential of how deep it goes is crazy, right? We don't know if this was a crash dummy that might have been sent by somebody, who has power and money. We don't know. It's all kind of possibilities that could be going on, man. Ain't no telling who's tied to this. It might be it's being presented, of course, in a way where this is somebody that just, did this on their own, but we don't know that. But again, if there is somebody, some sort of power that be this behind any of this, best believe that shooter gonna talk. We just live in a time where everybody they love to talk. People don't know when to remain silent. It's like that right damn near don't even exist to people anymore, the right to remain silent. People love talking. How many, man, it seemed like every day some body cam footage is being put out of, so-called gangster, so-called street person just talking to the police freely, right? Young Thug ain't the only one. I just seen some shit the other day. Some of y'all people might know who the dude Pesciano is. I just recently became hip to him, probably maybe a year ago or something. I can't even remember what he do. I don't know if he raps or whatever he does, but he got a little internet presence, I guess. But the Pesciano dude, he's on camera, on body cam footage in front of the dude who he got pulled over with, putting a gun on dude. Just talking to the police like, yeah, those are his guns and da da da. You can't. I bet you won't find my fingerprints on them. They his. And he just telling on the boy in front of the man. He's in front of the man that he's telling on him. Like, not even trying to be discreet with it. He just boldly telling on the boy. Right? And he supposed to be a blood or a Pyru or something. I don't know. But I say all that to say that's just a testament to how people just love talking to the police. People can't hold water. People just love running their mouth. So I guarantee you the shooter is no different. If it's anybody tied to this shit, he's definitely going to tell. Now, depending on who it is, they might be protected, to a certain extent, because that goes on too. But you just never know, man. Now, see, here go another one of these internet people that I'm talking about right now. Speaking of the devil, and they pop up. Viper says, Charlie Kirk a tard. Man, y'all's dialect just be killing me, man. The way the stuff that y'all slang is just like so corny. A tard, for real. Charlie Kirk a tard. Go to campuses to rage bait. That's some more soft ass, buster ass language that I don't like. To rage bait and antagonize. I don't see how you call it rage bait when the man simply goes to these campuses and allows people the opportunity to challenge him. They can ask questions and, challenge him on whatever they want. He doesn't, like, as far as I've seen, I ain't seen him say like, oh, you can ask me about anything except for this, or we can't talk about that. Like, I've never seen him do that. He openly allows people to challenge him in any way that they want to. But I know what you meant by when you said tard. I'm not trust me, freeze the furthest thing from slow. I just think it's corny. It's a corny it's corny dialect. You know what I mean? It's corny slang. I knew what you meant. I could say the whole thing if you like. Nah. Don Rogers says the First Amendment is a gift and a curse. Nah, see, the First Amendment ain't really the problem. I get what you're saying as far as the curse aspect of it. Ultimately, the First Amendment is a gift. But, if you pay attention, we don't even really have the full extent of the First Amendment like we used to. They don't even really, social media, with the exception of probably X, social media don't even really allow us to utilize the First Amendment like we should be able to because of all these sensitive ass people. These same cowards on the internet who say all this punk ass shit about people, like these same people who celebrating Charlie Kirk's demise, right? Those are the same types of people that will try to sue these platforms if you say anything that's transphobic or, if you say the wrong thing about black people, or if you say the wrong thing about white people, if you say the wrong, like, I just miss the days where, a white person could call you the N-word to your face. You could call them a honky or a peckerwood or whatever you want to call them to their face. And, if you get into a fight, you get into a fight. It is what it is, whatever, man. But just people could just talk how they want to. Like me, I'm not so sensitive where somebody say a word that I don't like and I'm trying to sue the platform that they said it on, who ain't got nothing to do with the person who said it. But yeah, I just miss them times where people could talk how they want. Now you got to censor yourself to a bunch of punk ass adults, bunch of buster ass adults, soft ass adults. How you a grown ass person and you so sensitive about words that somebody say, but at the same time, you say all the words that you want to say to people. It's just a bunch of Karens, man. That's really all they are. The Karens, blame the Karens. And when I say Karens, I ain't just talking about white women. It's a bunch of white men that's Karens. It's a bunch of black men that's Karens. It's men and women of all ethnicities and walks of life that's Karens. And the Karens is the reason why we can't exercise the First Amendment on social media the way that we want to and should be able to. But yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing on up in just a second because I still gotta take my ass to the gym because I had things to do this morning that made it where I couldn't make it to the gym in this beautiful Costa Rica. You dig? But I'm about to wrap this thing on up so I could take my ass to that gym and gets it on in. You dig? But before we go, hydrate my game one more time, put some love in my body. Listen, if you have not wiped your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain, please do so on your way out by hitting that like button. Wipe your feet off at the door. Hey, you know it's crazy, man. It was somebody else I seen take that from me, man. People be really committing plagiarism against this ism, man, for real though. Like goddamn, I know pimping, we originate a lot of catchy things to say and all that type of shit, man, but man, where's the originality, or at least where's the credit at? If you ain't gonna be original, man, at least give credit to the originator, myself, man. But I done seen several people, of course, Thyson Campbell is the most prominent of people that have plagiarized my pimping with the wipe your feet off at the door, right? Thyson, he done took that and put the Jermaine Dupri Puff Daddy remix on my shit and try to make it look like it's original. But hey, man, anybody, like I've been to some of his comment sections that people have pointed out to me, and you got people that let him know that they know where he got that from. Even though I know his sucker ass ain't gonna never admit it, and he gonna try to make it seem like he came up with that on his own. But come on, man, I went back. Cause like he said in a lot of videos now, man, it's like a regular thing of his to say, and I went back as far as I could of him saying that, and I believe he started saying that probably like 2 years ago, right? But me, on the other hand, man, I started saying that shit about 8 years ago. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. There's videos of me right now on YouTube that you can go back to and look at from 2017, either 2017 or 18. But for sure 2018, there's videos of me saying wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. But Thyson ain't gonna keep it 100 about that. He gonna try to make it seem like he just came up with that on his own. But I started that shit. If you see anybody on the internet saying any rendition of that, when you come into my house, you know the rules, take off your shoes. Like, man, come on, man. You know the rules, take off your shoes. Like, man, if you don't knock it off, man, like, you stole that from the pimping, man. Like, you talk all this shit about the pimping. You disrespect Sinful to P after he passed away, but you still stealing from the pimping. But yeah, man. A lot of people be stealing my shit, man, but it's all good though. Again, man, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. Condolences to his family and loved ones, and may the Most High have mercy on his soul. Marlon, excuse me. Marlon Clayton says, Freeze, what happened to your pimp outfits, suits, etc.? Nothing happened to him. I'm just out of the country right now. I'm in Costa Rica, and, I didn't bring a whole lot of suits with me. I brought a couple of suits with me, because it's just good to have suit. You never know when you might have to put a suit on, right? So I bought a couple of suits with me. But I didn't bring enough suits with me to where I could be wearing something different every day on camera and shit like that. So I could get suited and booted for these videos while I'm out here, but it'll be on some Gilligan Island shit, man. I had the same outfit on every episode, and I ain't finna do that. So I just wear my gym clothes while I'm out here on camera, you dig? But, of course, when I get back to the States, it's going to be a suited and booted affair once again, as usual. But because I'm not in the regular location. It's not the regularly scheduled program. You dig? So yeah, man. You know, I'm in beautiful Costa Rica. Man, it's so beautiful out here. Like right now, right? Well, actually, it's about the time. It's 5 o'clock over here right now, right? Like, it's a high likelihood that when I step outside my door, I'm gonna see monkeys in the trees. Like, it's real life monkeys in the trees in the neighborhood where I'm staying at. Like, if I walk outside, it's like a 90% chance I'll see monkeys out there right now in the trees. Big ass iguanas, toucans, parrots. You know what I mean? It's like, for instance, right? Hold on. Just show you what I'm talking about, right? This is the type of shit that I see when I step outside my door. You know, parrots just in the bird, and you know, these ain't nobody's pets. You know, in America we see parrots, but they usually be somebody's pets. We don't just see wild parrots in the neighborhood in the US, right? Or like let me see. Shit like this, you know what I mean? Now you see stuff like this in Florida. If you live in Florida, you see stuff like this outside. That nigga big as hell, though. Look how big dude is. Huge ass. And stuff like this. Hold on. This right outside, this is like across, right outside. As soon as I step out the door, this is what I see. A monkey just outside. Look at this big ass frog I seen. You know what I mean? This is the type of stuff that I'm seeing when I step outside. You dig? So oh, he said Captain Tazariak says it too. Yeah, man, they all stealing from me, man. And if they ain't stealing directly from me, they stole it from somebody who stole it from me. But I've been saying that. You can't find nobody who was saying that on the internet before me. I gladly welcome anybody to show me somebody who been saying some kind of rendition of wipe your feet off at the door when you come into my domain. I challenge anybody to find somebody who has some kind of variation of that's been saying it before 2018 like me. You know what I mean? See, I I ain't like a real big receipts type person, but let's just go to let's just show you what I'm talking about. Oh no, hold on, I don't want to do that. Let's see. Let's do this. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. D.L. Hughley, he's another one that be like just talking reckless. I guess him and Tariq Nasheed done said some derogatory things about the shooter or the shooting. See, y'all ain't never been shot before. And I don't wish you being shot on I don't wish being shot on anybody, but I'm trying to think. Let me see. Let me go to some of my oldest lives. Six years ago. 7 years ago. Hey, I think it's some lives missing. I know I went live more than this back then. Let me see. I might have said it on here. Let's see when this was. It may not go back that far. Hold on. Let's see. Let's try this one. Pimp been busy, man. I've been busy getting things in order and rearranging and regrouping and analyzing and all things like that. You dig?
To the money.
Soup 918, Michael Jordan, Maya Davis, James. Can y'all hear me? I ain't getting no responses. Let me know something. Can y'all hear me fine? Am I cool? Can you hear me? Kush, you say much needed tonight, huh?
See your bitch star, you see your pimp clothes, you see your pimp hoes, flick it up, bitch.
Let me see, man. I know one of these videos. I'm going to just show y'all what I'm talking about so y'all understand. Y'all know a pimp ain't bullshitting. Let's see. People get it misconstrued. Oh, shit. Freeze with the braids. Oh, shit. I'm just on there talking with no sound. Y'all don't remember Freeze with the braids, though. For those of y'all who remember Freeze with the braids, man, that's a throwback. Hold on. Yeah, I didn't just start having technical difficulties. I'm the OG of technical difficulties on YouTube. been doing this technical difficulty shit. You did? I'm just popping it. Can't nobody hear me. Look at me popping it. Can't nobody hear me. My crazy ass. Y'all know I got that shit bad. people be in the chat like, freeze, we can't hear you. Freeze, we can't hear you. My crazy ass, I ain't even looking at the comments. I'll be like, freeze, we can't hear you. Freeze, we can't hear you. I'm just running my mouth. Now y'all can hear me.
What's up with y'all though, man? Wait for a few more people to get in here. We gonna get to it. Forest Field, you say Christmas that came early, huh?
I'm gonna show y'all. We gonna find one. Let me go to. Instead of guessing around, I'm gonna go to one for sure. I know. Did I say it? Hold on. This is from 6 years ago.
Y'all tapped in with a pimp already. Top of it too. Y'all let me know. Can y'all hear this pivot good? You know what I mean? I know y'all can see this pivot good. You dig? Let me know if y'all can hear this pivot good though. Top of it to y'all.
Mic wasn't working.
I'm just extending my hand, girl. Understand you got lots to gain if you unlock your brain. Yo, I must admit you got a beautiful jump, but this ain't what my hear when you say beautiful struggle. It's about time. If you give it the time, no more basic bitch.
Choosing sideways, not choosing backwards, not choosing down. We're gonna talk about choosing up today. You dig? Coco, you say what do you suggest for weightlifting so that you don't hurt yourself? I suggest that you just be modest, right? You know, boys, y'all gonna have to bear with a pimp. I don't want to make y'all wait. You know what I mean? Mostly on 23rd eucalyptus, you know what I mean? Up, boy. Banging up against shit. Trying to, I mean, put some love in your body, you know what I mean? That love juice gonna really help you out. You dig? And also, man, wipe your feet off at the door.
When you
come in the Freeze's household, you got to wipe your feet off at the door. What I mean by that is, go ahead and hit that like button one time for me.
Now you hear it right there, right? You can't make this type of shit up. And I know I got videos older than this one where I'm saying it, right? But you just heard it right there. This is proof in the pudding.
Wipe your feet off at the door. When you come in the Freeze's household, you got to wipe your feet off at the door. What I mean by that is, go ahead and hit that like button one time for a pimp. You dig? When you come into a pimp's household, the least you can do is hit the like button, wipe your feet off at the door, get comfy, get cozy. We gonna chop this game, you dig? And there it is.
And you see the date right here. Let me blow it up for y'all. Y'all see the date, January 31st, 2019. Now, I know I got videos going back into 2018 where I'm saying it too. But I just want to show y'all who the originator of that is. Now, I challenge, and this ain't even the oldest video, but I challenge any of these people that you hear saying that to go back this far and find a video of them saying that. They can't do it. Now, Hassan was on YouTube before me, if I remember correctly. I've been on YouTube since 2016. I think it was like May of 2016 is when I posted my first video on YouTube, right? And I'm pretty sure that Hassan Campbell was on YouTube before me, but he can't show you a video this old of him saying, when you come into my house, you know the rules. Take off your shoes. He can't show you a video, man. Freeze looking like Ghost from Power. Y'all stupid, man. Y'all been saying that shit. Hey, it's funny because even when I had the braids, like you seen the video on there that I just showed a minute ago with the braids. Back then, even when I had braids, they was saying I look like Ghost from Power. Even with the braids, and Ghost ain't never had braids on the show. But that was even before I started watching Power, right? I didn't even know who Ghost was, and people were on the streets would tell me, "Man, you look like Ghost from Power." Like, what? Who the hell is that? Because I wasn't watching Power at that time, but then when I started watching Power later on, I'm like, damn. That's funny. But yeah, I just wanted to show y'all the origins of that wipe your feet off at the door or any kind of variation of it. You know what I mean? Now y'all know. For those of y'all who didn't know, those of y'all who've been rocking with me for years, y'all already know where that come from, man. But for those of y'all that might be fairly new, you might have came around in the last year or two or something like that, you might not know the origins. You might hear that and think Freeze is stealing from them. Like, some people probably hear Hassan Campbell say shit like that, and they like, damn, man, Freeze took that from Hassan. Or the other people that you seen, because I've seen several people use that. Like, most of them is smaller channels, but I've come across numerous people. But they all got it from a pimp. You dig? I just wanted to let y'all know that, man. So when you see that, you know it came from the pimpin'. See before we go. Okay. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing on up so I can carry my ass to the gym and gets it on in. But as always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in with a pimp. I appreciate you for sharing this video. I appreciate you for subscribing and hitting the bell when you subscribe. I appreciate all of the comments, questions, input, jokes, feedback, even insults, whatever it is that you come with. I appreciate all the super chats, the cash apps, the PayPals. I appreciate your support in every which way that you comes with it, man. Y'all already know who it is and what it is. See, look at that. James said, first person I heard say that was Hassan Campbell. See, that's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Now, even though Hassan is the first person you heard say it, he's not the first person that said it. You seen that video I just showed you, January 31st, 2019. Go look on Hassan's channel and see if you can find any video from that year, let alone January of that year, any video from that year or the next year after that or the next year after that where he said anything even remotely close to that. You ain't going to find it because it don't exist. You dig? That's one thing I love about archives on the internet. They don't lie. You dig? But if you out in traffic moving around, please do so in a safe fashion. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out.